let's start out the episode with giving our all-star starters. I'll start with you, Riv. What's your team? What's your starting five for East and West? Just name the East and West ones first and why you got each player there.
Well, I kind of messed up because, we were talking about if record matters, but this is my team if record does matter. So in the West, Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, those would be my guards. And then my forwards would be LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, and then my big man, the Joker. That would be my West. The East was kind of the one. It was really just one spot. If record matters, then I had Jaylen Brown and James Harden in the backcourt. And then I had Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Embiid. But if record didn't matter, I had Beal and Brown, and then Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Embiid. So that would be my team to start.
So pretty crazy that Jaylen Brown is probably going to be an all-star starter, but he's been playing like one. Before you go, Jack, I'll go. The East, of course, I have James Harden. He's averaging 24 and 11. And I'm not just counting the Eastern Conference games. Even in the West, when he played for the Rockets, he was doing his thing. And I think he's the best point guard in the Eastern Conference right
Question,
now.
though, before you go. Was he going to get in the West?
What? Yes.
As a starter. As a starter.
Well, we don't know how things would have played out in Houston had he stayed there because that
he probably would have had the same numbers as Curry.
That situation was getting
20. I think he would have kept his 24, 25, and 11.
On the Rockets?
Yeah, he wasn't really scoring that much at that point when he was leaving. His last 4 games, he had 2 20-point games.
But still, I have James Harden. He's the best point guard in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown is starting to. He's averaging 27 points per game, and he's very efficient this season. Oh. I got Kevin Durant. He's averaging 30. We already know he's easy money sniper. He's doing his thing. Then we have Giannis. Giannis is having another MVP caliber season, but because nobody likes Giannis now, he's not getting the recognition that he deserves. If this was if he was doing this a year that he didn't win MVP before he won MVP, everybody would be going crazy.
I just think they're not running away like they were in the past 2 years, like the Bucks. They're not winning as much games.
They're second in the East.
What's happening to him this year is what happened to Lamar Jackson in the NFL this season.
Or more like Patrick Mahomes.
No.
I'm talking about fan perception of him. Since he hasn't won that championship yet, or he hasn't had that playoff success yet, everybody's opinion.
Well, they both stinked it up in the playoffs.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I hate comparing NBA and NFL.
No, so do I. But
it's so different.
I totally agree. But I'm just saying, not comparing their games or anything, just the way fans look at them. Like you remember last year, Lamar won that MVP. There were some people comparing him to Patrick Mahomes.
Somebody
thing with
told
Giannis.
Me he was better than Joe Montana.
I
think you know what I'm talking about.
He's a Ravens fan. He's going to say that.
People were saying Giannis was the best player in the world last year, and now they don't have that playoff success. Everybody starts to turn on him.
So that being said, my fifth is Joel Embiid. Yeah. We don't got to go too much about what Embiid's doing. We're going to talk about that next segment, but Embiid, he's been balling. Then in the West, I could have went either way. I picked Stephen Curry to be the starting point guard, but you could have went Dame or Luka. I didn't pick Luka because Luka's out of the playoff picture right now. But if the Mavericks go on a 2 or 3 game winning streak, he's easily in the playoff race regardless. He's averaging close to a triple-double, so he could def be on this list. But I got Curry just because it's Curry.
The West is so tight right now.
Second, my shooting guard is Donovan Mitchell. He's averaging 23 points per game, but the Jazz are on a 10-game winning streak, and I feel like for these all-star starters, record should matter just a bit. Then I have LeBron starting. LeBron's playing at an MVP level in his 18th season. The Lakers are the second best team in the Western Conference. Then I have Kawhi, another one on the cusp, because it could be Kawhi or Paul George. Paul George's efficiency is way better right now. And then for my center spot, I have Nikola Jokic, because he's Nikola Jokic. We know what he does.
So just before I go, I want to say the bench voting, from what I read, I could be wrong. If I am, somebody correct me in the comments, please. But as of the latest thing that I could find, it's selected by the coaches. So I told you what the starters are, and then the bench is selected by the coaches. So maybe that gives the lesser known, like Julius Randle might not get that advantage of playing in New York as a bench vote, but I digress. So in the Eastern Conference, I started out with Kyrie Irving at the point guard position. I think that, honestly, I'm trying not to sound like a homer, but I think that James Harden and Kyrie Irving are the 2 best guards in the Eastern Conference right now. I don't think they'll both be the starters because it's pretty tough to get 3 starters in the All-Star game from one team.
Oh yeah.
So
Golden
I don't
State did it.
I don't think all three of them are going to end up starting, but I do
When it's
think
three as good as them, yes, I think it can.
I do think that Kyrie and James Harden are the two best guards in the East right now. But I went with Kyrie just because our lists are very similar. Wanted to give a little difference. At shooting guard, I went with Jaylen Brown. He's having an awesome year. We'll talk about him later on. Kevin Durant having an MVP type season. He won't get that recognition because the team he's on, but he's playing incredible. Joel Embiid and Giannis, what is there really to say? I mean, you see the numbers, you see what they're doing. But the guards were tough for me. It could have been Bradley Beal, could have been James Harden. You know, that was.
I think
that was
the
a tight
four
spot.
would be Harden, Kyrie, Brown, Beal. Those
This
four
is
should
my
be the only
opinion.
guys.
Bradley Beal should not even be in the discussion to be starting in the All-Star
Why
game.
though?
Because they're losing. Like, I'm not gonna reward a guy for losing like that. Even if he's averaging 35, yeah, but he's one of the worst defenders at his position in the NBA.
That's true.
Like, I'll have. Oh, also, I want to say this. It really depends when we're talking about Harden and Kyrie. It really depends what you classify Kyrie and Harden as. If you're,
I think Kyrie would be a 2 now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Kyrie is a 1, can he get over Trey and Colin Sexton? I think he can.
No, you just said because losing matters and winning matters, and Kyrie and them are playing better than Atlanta, and Trae Young has been playing pretty bad.
And that's what I'm saying. And then if you have Harden at the 2, I think his numbers show that he should get in over Jaylen Brown. So it really depends on where you're slotting them. If you're slotting Kyrie at the 1 and Harden at the 2, then they both should be starting.
That's why it helps it helps some guys and it hurts some guys that it's guards and forwards.
Okay, so then let me ask you then. If Harden is a 1, I agree he should be in. But if Kyrie's a 2, should he really get in over Jaylen Brown?
In the starting
If
lineup,
he's
or
classified as a
starting-
2, no.
I don't think if it goes like that. I think if Harden's at 2, yeah, because the double.
I'm not even looking at it that way. I'm just
what?
because it's they label it guards and forwards.
Yeah.
So
No, but if you're labeling it, that is tough though.
It is tough.
It is tough.
It is definitely
because
tough.
even though we know it's guards and forwards, like for the guards, we're still picking the starting guard as a point guard. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree. I think of the last few years, especially in the All-Star game, that classification has kind of gone out the window.
Trae Young made it last
At
year.
one point, Kemba and Kyrie was starting in the backcourt, like point guard, shooting guard. Those were the two. So I think it's just. But like I said, it should only be those 4 guys in the East: Beal, Brown, Harden, and Kyrie.
It's tough to cut that down to 2 guys.
Yeah, but I feel like those should be like Brogdon's gonna get some haha, but no, he shouldn't get in as a starter. Same with Trae Young. I think it should be.
Did
just
you
those
name your
4.
West?
No, not yet. So then in the West, I went with Steph Curry, was a pretty easy choice as my point guard. Dame has been good, but just the fact that I feel like CJ might be outplaying him this year was tough for me to give the nod to Dame over Steph, especially because Steph has been so good and has really carried the Warriors to the start to the season they've been having. So he was an easy pick for me. Then I had Donovan Mitchell at the 2, like you said. It could have been Luka for me, but I rewarded Mitchell because they are the best team in the Western Conference, and he's been playing awesome. Then the forwards were pretty easy for me. LeBron is an easy one. Nikola Jokic, another easy one. Even though they're losing, I think he's been a top 3 player in the league this season. And then at my 3rd forward spot, this is where it was a little tough. Like you said, Kawhi and Paul George. It's a coin flip. Paul George has been more efficient, but I think Kawhi Leonard has been slightly more important to that team. So I gave the nod to Kawhi Leonard.
I think that's
Nuggets,
but it could be either player.
Nuggets are the 4th seed now,
What's their record though?
11-7.
So they're right there.
They really
Blazers-
turned it around.
Warriors are 10-8.
Blazers are the 5th seed.
What are that?
They're 9-7. They're over the Warriors, and the Spurs are the 10th. The Spurs are the 7th seed. Surprisingly,
They've been playing really good.
Are they going to have an All-Star?
No.
yeah, I
No,
don't
no.
think so.
Who would be the guy to make it from that team?
Either DeMar DeRozan or Aldridge?
I don't
would
think
guess.
either of them are having an
No,
All-Star
it
seasons.
would be DeMar DeRozan or honest to God, DeJounte Murray.
Keldon
I swear to God.
Johnson.
Or him too.
Nah,
LaMarcus
he's not
Aldridge-
having an All-Star here, but Keldon
No, I'm
Johnson's
saying if
playing
you ask
awesome.
who would be an all-star out of that team, like LaMarcus Aldridge has been all right, but he hasn't been, LaMarcus Aldridge.
They're just a well-run
Bunch
team.
of good players.
Exactly.
Wait, what are the
Call me crazy,
What you about to say?
but before I have Bradley Beal in that discussion to start as a guard, because Jack said they're not going by point guards or shooting guards, so just starting as a guard, I'd have Trae Young over Bradley Beal, and I'd have Colin Sexton over Bradley Beal.
Wow.
I know why you're saying Colin Sexton.
Yes.
I know why you're saying
I mean,
Colin
he's
Sexton.
balling,
I'm
Yeah.
just going to say this.
and they're winning.
I'm going to say this. I watching Trae Young, have not been that impressed with him this year. And I like him a lot as a player. I think he's got all the potential in the world. But
in his game this year.
He's like,
and I might pick. Sorry for cutting you off, but I might pick Brogdon over him too, because he's balling too, and they're the 3rd seed right now.
Brogdon's numbers are crazy.
He's playing well.
You got to put a 35-point score in there. I'm sorry, you got like
I'd put Levine over him.
Oh no, he better get in. If he doesn't get in, I'm starting a riot.
I don't know, man. I'm just not as high on Bradley Beal.
We're not.
Yeah. Especially we're talking about the starters.
Oh,
especially to start. I don't think Bradley Beal should be in the discussion to
You
start.
think he should be in the discussion to be in though?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
He has to.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say it's
absolutely
a little crazy.
I mean, yeah, when you bring in winning, all those guys are carrying their team to some extent.
But I mean, like, you guys have seen the Hawks this year. Am I crazy for thinking Trae Young? I don't think he's really improved that much from last year.
I watch the Hawks every game Cam Reddish plays. So when he doesn't play, obviously I don't watch them.
I mean, he was amazing last year.
Exactly.
I think he's impressed me because he's still putting up the same kind of numbers, but they're winning now. So
it's almost not even his fault. I just don't really like the way they run that offense, and I feel like he kind of gets caught in the crossfire of my blaming of their offense. I don't really like how they run their offense, and I feel like I place the blame for that on Trae Young when it's not really his fault, but I feel like they have so many nice weapons that don't get involved as much as they should.
They haven't been healthy, though.
It's true. That's true.
Like, Rondo hasn't been healthy fully. Like, Danilo, he's just getting back. So those pieces that were supposed to be that aren't there.
And for context, I'm talking about Trae Young in a sense of the guys that we're talking about right now, all-star starters. He's having an incredible year, but
those are all our all-star starters list. So all of us have pretty much the same list, except Jack went with Kyrie over Harden.
No, he had Harden.
And you went with...
No, you went Kyrie over... No,
I went Kyrie.
Brown over Jaylen Brown.
Kyrie. No, I went Kyrie and Jaylen Brown.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. I thought you went Nets full
no,
way.
I wanted to, but I ended up putting
And
Jaylen
you put
Brown.
Bradley Beal as your starter.
Yeah, I did.
So you had Brown and Beal. I had Irving and Brown, and you had Harden and Brown.
Yeah, Harden.
I said if winning didn't matter, I had Bradley Beal and Jaylen Brown.
I mean, amongst these all-stars, like, okay, for me, Giannis and KD, those are solidified guys. Yeah. Those are untouchables.
Agreed.
Personally, I feel like Harden's untouchable in that starting lineup. That's just me, though.
Of course.
In the West, Jokic and LeBron are the only untouchables. Between Kawhi, Mitchell, and Curry, they're interchangeables.
Okay, how is Harden untouchable, but Curry's not untouchable?
Because Dame he's actually averaging more points than Steph.
He is, but now look at this.
And
you said
they're
winning.
better in the standings.
You said winning matters, but you also
they're better in the
you
standings.
have to look at team context. CJ McCollum was playing at the same level as Dame before he went down.
And Nets are the 4th seed right now, so they're not losing. They're actually higher than the Celtics. Who would you put over Harden?
Jaylen Brown.
They're higher than the Celtics in the standings.
So what?
He wasn't
there he wasn't even there for the whole time.
They're on like a 2-game winning streak, bro.
Aren't they like 2-3 with Harden?
They're 4-2.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man.
I don't know about untouchable, man.
I think he is 24 and 11. He's averaging a double-double, 24 and 11.
I mean,
I would say
I think Mitchell.
So wouldn't that make Trae Young untouchable?
I don't think that either of the. I don't think Harden or Curry.
Trae Young's averaging 26 and 9.
If we're talking solidified spot, like I have full confidence they're going to be the starter. I don't think Harden or Curry has the solidified
if fan vote
spot.
is 50%. Curry's going to get a spot.
That's what I'm saying. You can interchange Curry with Luka. So you can do the same with Mitchell, and you can interchange Curry or Mitchell with Dame. So that's why I'm saying they're not untouchable.
At the same time in the East, though.
I mean, Dame has better stats than Curry, and they're better in the standings. And Luka has better numbers than all three of them, or all three of them. But they're just not winning.
In the East, though, you got to look at Brown, Irving, Harden, Beal. For me, is those
Beal
four
is knocked
guys.
out of that conversation.
For you,
I think he's knocked out of the conversation.
Yes, for you, but we're talking about who's got a locked-in spot. And a lot of people don't look at it the same way you look at it.
I think Harden has a locked-in spot. That's just me personally. 24 and 11.
Kyrie's
numbers aren't better, and Jaylen Brown's numbers aren't better.
Are you talking about just in the totality? Because how many points did Jaylen Brown average?
He's averaging 27.
And how many more
26.
How many more rebounds is he averaging to Harden? I'm pretty confident Harden's only beating him.
I'm pretty sure he's averaging 6 rebounds a game.
Have to check.
And I think
he's
Harden's
averaging
around
27. He's averaging 27, 6, and 4.
So he's
Brown
beating him
basically.
in what rebounds and points, and probably is more efficient than Harden.
Harden's averaging 24, 7, and 12.
That's
So what are you talking about, man? Come on. And he's shooting 46% from the field and 39% from 3.
What is Jalen shooting?
Brown has been more efficient. I'm
inflated
pretty sure.
numbers.
I'm pretty sure he's at 50.
Harden's
41.
averaging more rebounds and way more assists. So that's why I think Harden for me is a lock. And I think a lot of people agree with Harden being a lock.
Well, no,
but that's what I'm saying.
For you, but I'm just. I thought we were discussing in general who we thought were going to be.
I mean, we all agree though the front court for these lock.
No, but that's what I'm saying. For me personally, I think, and I think this is the consensus, but I think Curry, Mitchell, Kawhi, and Brown are the interchangeables amongst the players that should be starting. Or
Okay,
not.
so I personally feel like Curry is a lock, and you personally feel like Harden's a lock. I understand. Okay.
Curry's not on Harden's level this year. Let's just be honest.
Oh, what? All right. Okay. We're not even gonna go into the back and forth from that one.
I mean, one's gonna win the championship. One is
has
not
3.
Gonna win.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
One's a loser, the other isn't. I get it. Yeah.
So if you guys watch this segment, comment down your all-star starters for the Eastern Conference and the West. And do you think that James Harden is a lock to be in the starting lineup?